So, I tried HYPERPOP, or otherwise known as eye strain art. I mean, I would say I don't know what draws me to try this, but if you have any eyes, I think it's pretty obvious. The art style is so eye-catching and leaves you scanning the page for each and every different detail and colour they throw on top. There was one artist in particular that inspired me more than the rest. I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably know them. This artwork being one of theirs, they make a variety of work, ranging from animatics to spreads. I first found them through a tutorial a long while back relating to HYPERPOP. Since then, they've made another tutorial a few months back and have posted many animatics in between. I recently rediscovered their work through their most recent video, going through the process of an animatic they made. That video spanning over an hour. If you haven't watched it, I'd advise you to. Now to get into the actual art. For my first two attempts, I decided to redraw some people I met in a certain institution. The harder part for this was honestly just remembering some of their faces and features. I honestly had a lot of fun working on these pieces other than that. However, the sketch wasn't that hard because I had an idea for what I was going to do already, pre-planned pretty much, at least for the first character. The second character is crazy, was a pain in the ass to work on. I could not remember this person's facial features to save my life. And you may be wondering, why draw these people in the first place? And my answer to that would be boredom, and the first time I did it with them asking, I kind of botched the drawings. Oh, and yes, they did ask me to draw them, though this was in the institution, so technically these ones are just freebies, which I wouldn't complain about. Now here's when I add the pop. I went in with a colour linear and dodge layer based on what I learned from Bad June, and then went in and added each colour I wanted on the edges and insides to create texture and make it pop. Like I've seen, I honestly don't think I nailed it either of these times, but I do like the second one more than the first. And here's both of the first attempts up close. For this second attempt, I cranked out a pose and then lost motivation. So I picked it back up the next day. Even at the beginning of the next day, I was left clueless on what to do, so I just started drawing, putting down literally anything that came to mind. It ended up coming out like some tomboy girl on the prairie vibes. This time, I really wanted the colours to work together and blend more seamlessly. Plus, I use more coloured linear art because what I learned from other videos, it makes the art more interesting and vibrant. I did try and make this piece more interesting, but I decided to leave the more complex ideas for the last attempt. Plus, I just couldn't come up with anything. Art block has been hitting me recently. And here's the final for the second attempt. Weirdly enough, I think this one might be my favourite. It has a lot less to it than the last piece, but I do think this one has more charm, and probably throughout the whole video encapsulates this style the best. I played around with this piece a lot more in the beginning, and then went crunch time in the last half. I was genuinely so confused on what I should do in the beginning, and probably sat there for a few hours just figuring that out. Once I finally got it down though, it was pretty smooth sailing. I cut out a lot of this time-lapse footage because I went very AWOL and just started working on several other projects randomly, and just doodles and just stuff that didn't need to be included. I thought about doing text bubbles and things like that, but I just couldn't get it to work how I wanted. Without intentionally being that, I wanted to go more fancy with the background on this one too, but left it for the final again, though I'm not sure I really went all out in the final either. I didn't realise I gave this one the same colour background as the last one, so apologies for that. I think the actual picture is far different though, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. The colours in this one went so nice together, I think I really channeled my inner HYPERPOP. This is the final. This one is probably my least favourite, but I do gotta say, it was extremely fun to work on. Rendering is one of my favourite things, and I got to do a lot of it with this one. This character is an OC of mine, and he's a deranged and wacky individual. I can't quite remember when I made him, but it's surely been a while. I'm not sure why I bowl cutted him for a while. I was wanting to make changes to his character design, but I just left it as is in the end, but not at the expense of numerous hairstyles and changes. I'm not really sure why I took the time to half render out the piece when I was just going to change the colours later, but that's okay. Again, I keep trying for a background but never stick with it. It'll look like I did for a while, but I dropped it in the end. Here's me finally going in with some colour adjustments, though these aren't the final colours. I don't have too much to say about this one, it was honestly a head empty, just drawing experience. I hope you enjoyed the piano music and chill out. The next one will not be that. This last attempt is by far the most ambitious. I can't say that I'm obsessed with the end goal or of it is even hyperpop, but I do gotta say I thoroughly enjoyed creating this piece. I'm not sure I even loosely came close to achieving this style during the video, but I can say I learned a lot of new techniques and skills. It definitely helped me break out of my art block a bit too. I had a pose predetermined and picked out for this one from Pinterest. If I can find that, I'll put it on screen. For the background, I kind of just winged it. I wasn't really trying to do too much with it, because it wasn't the main focus. This drawing gave me a bit of trouble, especially in the face area. I redid it countless times. Same for the hair. I really enjoyed rendering this one. This is the part where the art gets really ugly for a bit. The hair was a horror to render. I have a lot more to study and learn with hair and faces, well, honestly everything. But I've been really lacking on those categories and need to do more studies. So if you're also lacking and procrastinating, here's my reminder to do what you need to do, or don't I'm not your parent. Here's me struggling with face. I couldn't get it to be how I wanted it, so I just redded the face from when I liked it. Finally adding all the accents and colours, this part was my favourite. I genuinely enjoyed it. This is the final result. So overall, if you're bored, or have art block, or just want to try something, I'd suggest HYPERPOP. Bye!